Hi, I'm Mark Edwards. Welcome to Travelogue and welcome to Shenzhen. Shenzhen is arguably China's #1 most upwardly mobile city, and that's after being granted special economic status. For many people, however, it's seen merely as a gateway into Hong Kong. But on our trip, we're hopefully going to show you that there's a lot more to Shenzhen than you might have previously thought.
From a poor fishing village to China's richest city in just 20 years, Shenzhen is a master of transformation and a blueprint for many of China's growing cities. The city has ridden the wave of economic boom with aplomb, thanks in no small part to becoming a special economic zone in 1980. With a population of around 10 million people, the city draws a mixture of businessmen, investors and workers from all over the country, all trying to find a place in China's economic miracle. Shenzhen is one of China's major financial centres, home to the Shenzhen Stock Exchange, as well as the headquarters of numerous high-tech companies.
So you'll find that in Shenzhen they have these pedestrian walkways, so where people walk here on this side and people use bicycles here, which is why, one of the reasons why people in Shenzhen drive so fast, and there are a lot of these underground passageways rather than zebra crossings.
Shenzhen's roads are arguably faster and more furious than any other Chinese city. Big main roads are where zebra crossings are far and few between, replaced instead by underground walkways. But it's not just the cars that move fast here. The pace of growth is almost unheard of. Today, a third of Shenzhen's income comes from exporting high-tech products. And they say that maybe half the world's watches are made in town. Despite its booming economy, Shenzhen is still trying to rid itself of its tag as the gateway to Hong Kong. It's a hard one to shake off, given its proximity to Hong Kong. But gradually, Shenzhen is creating its own independent brand name.
So for those of you who've never come to China, you're going to need a visa to get here. And for those of you who have been here, you'll know that visa renewals can be done in Hong Kong at the special administrative region of China that is Hong Kong. And the most effective and probably cost-effective way of doing it is to fly directly to Shenzhen, because you can just walk over the border rather than paying the huge taxes at the Hong Kong airport. So once you've headed across the border control from Hong Kong into Shenzhen via the main train station, just take 15 meters just over the main square towards the public coach station. There you can grab a coach directly to the airport. It'll take you around 40 minutes depending on the traffic and shouldn't cost you more than 20 RMB.
The good news is that the Shenzhen-Hong Kong paths have become more accessible at all times of the day. There are currently 6 land checkpoints between the two cities, and the only 24-hour pass is located at Lok Ma Chau. The most popular crossing point, due to its convenience of public transport on both sides, is where we were just then, Lo Wu, which is open from 6:30 AM to midnight. Tourists should note that a valid visa is required to enter Shenzhen or anywhere in China from Hong Kong.
So as long as you've got the right permits and or passport, it's relatively easy to head from Shenzhen into Hong Kong to party it up. I'm at Huanggang, which is the only 24-hour passageway. There are a few others as well, 3 others, one of which is at Lo Wu, and Lo Wu is probably the most efficient one, because from there you can just walk over the other side and take a subway directly into Hong Kong city centre.
With lower prices than in Hong Kong, it's no surprise that many of HK's tai-tais make their way over the border in Huanggang to Shenzhen's vast array of shopping malls. It's a shopper's paradise. The main hub is at Dongmen, with its feast of department stores, boutiques and stalls.
So as begets an international cosmopolitan city like Shenzhen, you'll find all of the major brands here. So we've got Zara, Sephora, in one of the dozens and dozens of shopping malls they have. Now, a lot of people like to come from Hong Kong and come and do their shopping here in Shenzhen because apparently some of the clothes, golf equipment as well, and lots of other things can be found at cheaper prices. birds. Hey, birds.
However, as we all know, shopping is a gift for half of us and a burden for the other half. But we can all agree that a romantic stroll makes everyone happy, especially in surroundings like the Mangrove Nature Reserve. Located in Shenzhen Bay on the west side of the city, it's a state-level bird sanctuary, as well as a habitat and rest site for migratory birds along the East Asia-Australasia flyway. Apparently, there are around 180 kinds of birds here, and over 20 are rare species under national and international protection.
So I've headed down to the Mangrove Nature Reserve, which is just off the Binghai Highway, and it's a lovely place to come at the weekends where you can get some sea breeze and just stroll around. And for those of you who are into that, there's some great bird watching spots along here. I'm more into people watching, so I'm going to head this way.
It's hard to imagine this peaceful haven is just a stone's throw away from the city centre, hence the crowds on the weekends. It's a hotspot for couples and families who all gather here to stroll and picnic. Interestingly, the Mangrove Nature Reserve is the smallest of China's state-level nature reserve areas, and the bird watching, if that's your thing, really is legendary. But if you're not into birds of the avian category, the park still provides fantastic coconut palm-shaded walks and views to die for across Shenzhen Bay. And if you still haven't had your fill of fantastic views, then head over to Sichuan. It's a scenic spot in the Longgang district of Shenzhen, located in the southern part of the Dapeng Peninsula and facing the South China Sea. Isolated beaches and great hiking trails are the catch here.
So we've headed over to get a view of Sichuan, one of Shenzhen's newest and most up-and-coming beach and mountain resorts. There's plenty of hiking trails behind. We've also got one of Shenzhen's cleanest beaches because it's an hour and a half east of the city, so not too much industry around here. 4 kilometers of lovely sand. Check it out. So for all you hiking fanatics and you want a little something a little different, you can check out the trails here. Now what they have is more of a wilderness wandering, I've renamed it, where you have people starting on the beach, making their way into the mountain and just airing around really.
And here's a secret many don't know. Shenzhen has some of China's best beaches, many of which are untouched stretches of the national park. In 2006, Chinese Geographic magazine named the Dapeng Peninsula, where most of Shenzhen's beaches are situated, as one of China's top 10 most scenic coastlines. However, beaches like Dameishan and Xiaomeishan are often crowded with locals and tourists, which is what makes the stretch at Sichuan so refreshing. It's tranquil and offers a cleaner dip in the water, being more secluded.
So just to explain the weather a little bit in Shenzhen, it's funny, it can rain really heavily for about 20 minutes and then as you can see, the sun can come out and you can go tanning for a couple of hours, so be ready for both. I don't want to get too wet.
On this episode of Travelogue, we'll be heading south to one of China's richest and most booming cities, Shenzhen. We'll be seeing what the city has to offer, and then heading to the OCT East for some theme park madness. That'll be followed by catching a show at the China Folk Culture Village. And then hopefully we'll find some secluded beaches at Sichuan. Possibly an odd thing to be renowned for considering its economic fame, but Shenzhen in times gone by was better known amongst domestic tourists for high-quality theme parks. Oh yes, it's theme park time.
So got my ticket at the OCT East. It costs 150 kwai for 1 day or 220 kwai for 2 days, and you can come in and out as you please. Let's go inside and have a look.
Set over 9 square kilometres of lush green hills and freshwater lakes, the OCT East Eco Resort is just 30 kilometres from the Shenzhen city centre. It's also much more than just a theme park. It's an all-encompassing life experience, a fairground of rides, culture, sport and food.
So I managed to pick up my pretty funky raincoat, check it. 10 kwai, I guess it's a bit of a bargain. It's still raining, hopefully the weather will clear up in the next hour or so. A lot of the themes are water-based, so we've got water on the outside, water on the inside. Let's enjoy.
Centred around the 5-star Interlaken Hotel and Village, OCT East, which stands for Overseas Chinese Town, is a combination of 2 theme parks, 3 scenic towns, 4 resort hotels, 2 18-hole golf courses, a temple and much, much more. The Eco Valley section, which includes theme rides, a winemaking and beer brewing experience, an aqua show and China's largest seashore waterfall, is open from 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Rubbing mosquito repellent, or no, to stop the itching. Stop the itching. Yes. Watch out for the mozzies, watch out for the mozzies. So there are 2 ways of getting up the hill. This backward carriage up here, if not the gondolas and the cable cars on the left. I do prefer the outdoors this way.
All the rides within the theme park are free, but be prepared to queue for a while. This is a popular resort, and the theme park section especially so. However, it's also a good chance to catch an impressive view of the resort. The best time to visit Shenzhen is October to December, when the weather is pleasantly cool. At other times of the year, be equipped for a mix of sunshine, heavy downpours and fog.
You can probably hear the screens behind me. Now once you get to the top of the hill, there's basically fantastic panoramic views. But on top of that, there's a ride called the Cliff Booster. Now I think I'm going to go head onto the cliff and boost myself and hopefully scream a bit less than those people there. If you're over 80 kilograms, you won't be allowed on, so it's only for healthy people. Wish me luck.
The thing you should remember is that as much fun as the rides are, the OCT East is much more than just a theme park. It's an all-encompassing life experience, a fairground of rides, culture, sport and food. That said, this was awesome.
What can I say? Okay, the worst or the best bit about that... Hold on, wait, that's not me shaking, that's you. The best bit about that, or the worst, is that you're at the top and they just make you wait there for what feels like about a lifetime, and you're just looking over the top. I thought the clouds could hide some of the ground, but soon the clouds dispersed. The girl next to me was screaming the whole way. A couple of girlish screams from me too, but really worth it. Come to the Cliff Booster. Come to the Cliff Booster. So hopefully the clouds have just about cleared enough so that you can see behind. The OCT theme park is split into 3 distinct areas. We've got the Buddhist cultural theme park. As you might be able to see, the temple in the background. We've also got the attractions up top with fun rides and theme rides. And finally, a resort section with lots of hotels and golf courses, which hopefully you can see quite clearly behind me.
The great thing about the OCT East is that there really is something for people of all ages. The kid in you and with you will love the rides in the theme park, but grown-ups can also be treated to a more relaxed side. Try taking the scenic ride around the park. It takes just 20 minutes along the railway which connects the entire park. Sit back in an old-school rustic train and watch the massive park roll past. For Shenzhen, the more the merrier. Most cities have enough fun with just one theme park, but the industry is so developed in Shenzhen that it boasts at least half a dozen, with new ones sprouting up all the time. Like Disneyland franchises all over the world, no self-respecting blockbuster theme park is complete without a set of hotels to ensure you spend as much time as possible in the park. OCT East is no different.
Thought we'd take a quick break in Interlaken, one of the themed areas within the OCT. This is where all the hotels are, so they go from 3-star all the way to 5-star, and they've taken on a Swiss architectural theme. So all around us we've got very European vibe. It's very relaxed, even though it's raining outside, everyone's just chilling.
The 5-star Interlaken Hotel, overlooking Lake Interlaken, is surrounded by its namesake village with quaint gingerbread houses and shops. You'll also find street parades, a huge indoor theatre, golf courses, as well as China's largest indoor and outdoor mineral spring spa.
So as relaxing as it is out here, show you around inside. Come on. This is what a 5-star room looks like in this part of town. We have lovely flat screen television on this side. Couple of lovely beds. Now a room like this retails at 2,000 kwai minimum. And if you come around here, as you can see, we've got separate bath, separate shower in its own room, and a separate toilet around there. Clearly I can't even afford to be here, so I'm out.
Ah, the beauty of showing a 5-star lifestyle for other people to enjoy. Time to head back into town and to the west of the city, where you can find the older and arguably more established theme parks. As a tip, if you didn't have time / totally forgot to pick up your Shenzhen information brochures at the airport, then there's a very useful office situated right in the window of the world.
So, picked up my little guides at the Shenzhen Tourism Information Center. So we've got everything to do: sightseeing, transportation, hotels, where to eat. And this is at the view, come with me, of the world. And you could probably guess what this is about if you come into the center. It is, of course, a theme park that's based around the most famous attractions in the world, the most famous landmarks. Behind me you have, can you just about spot it, the Eiffel Tower, ladies and gentlemen, for a lovely recreation. And if you swing around this way, we've got the pyramid outside the Louvre. We've even got a recreation of the hotel of the Venetian in Las Vegas.
In this part of town, take your pick with the parks. The Window of the World is a place where you'll find a total of 118 world scenic spots. And right next door, stroll over to splendid China. Here you'll be able to take in miniature versions of some of China's most treasured landmarks, all united together in one theme park.
So, from a view of the world to a view of China. Now, we've come just across, not too far, to two linked villages, one of which is called Splendid China. This is what you can see around me, where it has lots of recreations of some of China's most famous tourist sites, such as the Great Wall, which I'm just relaxing on right now. And the other one is called the China Folk Culture Village, where you can find lots and lots of performances and shows to do with the ethnic minorities in the country, and you can just have your best Godzilla impression all over the place. So the park's open from 9 AM to 9 PM, and the tickets will cost you 120 RMB. Now, if we get to see, here we go, one of my favourite little places in the world. You get to see also Tincture. You'll get to see all these kind of recreations. Look at this, it's the Bishu Shanzhuang in Chengde, the old summer palace, which in real life is twice as big as the actual summer palace in Beijing. Here, it's not quite the same, but around the entire splendid China, you'll see all of these fantastic recreations of places you probably haven't had time to see during your sojourn in China. 走，谢谢。
这是我们中央电视台，大家看到了吗？CCTV 啊，我。
OK。
还有谁呀？快来这边来！
来，这边。
还有谁？啊
！OK。
谢谢。
OK。
谢谢。
I really don't think anybody would actually want. This is probably the least popular type of thing for me. Is an outline of my face. Awful. I should have changed my facial features. Okay. 哇，你那么快。This is how I look apparently, with rather feminine sort of eyelashes, don't you think? Rather feminine. I didn't realise that. Looks like a girl's outline. 这个像女的吗？ He reckons it's alright. I look like a dude. It's cool.
你在写什么？写不得。你在写下来吗？我怕会洗掉你。
Enough of the outdoors. It's time to head to one of the hottest shows in town, which takes place in an amphitheatre at the China Folk Culture Village, right next door to splendid China. It takes place every night at 7 PM and costs you a little extra, but it's definitely worth it. Just drop 30 RMB for the privilege. Now, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but you'll see that it's definitely worth the cash. As well as being visually spectacular, the show cranks up your knowledge of China. It's a perfect opportunity to learn about the country's diverse and fascinating ethnic minority groups. There are 56 officially recognised ethnic groups within China, all with their own unique cultures. Most ethnic groups are distinctive from one another. But one of the most overwhelming traits they share is their love of singing and of dancing. Not only do they love it, but they're very good at it, as you can see. And here's a chance for you to take the spotlight. In this production, everybody has a chance to go on stage. You just need to sit strategically in the front row. Can I add that this really wasn't a setup and I happened to be picked out randomly? Just remember to give the ladies the eye. This was actually a very relevant move given the overall theme of many of these dances. Love. Love is in the air at the show, and here you don't need to speak the ethnic dialects to understand what's going on. So whether you're a hopeless romantic, a budding Romeo or a love Scrooge, don't miss your chance to learn about these fascinating cultures. a bit of everything for everyone. Fun and culture hand in hand. And in many ways, that's what Shenzhen is all about. But don't just take my word for it. Come and try for yourself.
Well, what a fantastic performance. They took us all around China with all of the diverse ethnic minorities on display. I had a fantastic time. I've even got my own memorabilia, and it's probably a good time to call it a day. I hope you've enjoyed our trip around Shenzhen and everything that it has to offer. I'm Mark Edwards, and I'll catch you very soon on another episode of Travelogue.